Are actually more.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so this is our makeup air unit. This is typically the makeup air unit here that is going to have a fan. It also contains the burner assembly. This box at the end is going to be the swamp cooler, the small swamp cooler. Thank you, sir. So to remove these, you pull up, out, kind of slide down. They're a little sticky, but that's all right. This is our swamp cooler. There's really low maintenance. You really don't have to do anything except for visual inspections. Make sure the corrosion is minimal. Make sure there's no debris. There is a small drain on the bottom.
How about the filter replacement?
The filter replacement, believe it or not, this is not an air filter. This is your filter media. This is what is going to absorb the water to bring water into the airstream.
Same as this unit over here, the big unit.
Correct.
You don't replace that filter. It's just a filter media.
Absolutely.
That contains the water and cools you.
It absorbs the water, and then the water, flows across that and takes up some water.
The media never needs to be replaced?
That's for the swamp cooler. Is there any other filters?
There is filters here. These are cleanable filters. They're all metal filters. These things have clips, and in fact, I think they just slide out here from the top. You just undo the ends. There's 3 filters. They're washable, so they don't need to be replaced, but they will probably need to be pulled out probably twice a year. Inspect them, I like to inspect them 4 times a year just to make sure they're not getting too plugged up.
Can you inspect it from the exterior? Or do you
Yes,
have to pull it out
absolutely. You can look from here. I can see. I can almost see halfway through the filter itself. And you'll know when they're dirty because they start to collect dirt, dust, and they just visually look bad. Take them out, rinse them off with just water, let them dry out, and throw them right back in.
That's just air filter, right? To clean the air.
Absolutely. This is your air filter to remove debris before it gets into the unit.
Got it. This is a swamp cooler media.
Yes, yes. This is going to be.
How do we know it's going to need replacement? Or does it never need to be replaced?
Very rarely have I replaced any of these. The only time I've replaced any of these is when, typically when something gets inside and destroys it. Either a fan breaking up or a rodent that gets in there and makes a nest. These things, it absorbs water. It's almost like a paper element that has, it's like a rigid paper element that absorbs water well. It holds water. And
so 10 years from now it gets moldy and we decide to, okay, let's replace it.
Correct.
How do we?
There's 3 screws here.
Okay.
You could remove 2 to 3 of them. Very simple.
Okay. And pull it out.
And take a look at that. And this is how the water actually comes in from the top. Gravity brings it in. It's a very absorbent material. You can check it out. It's almost like cardboard or paper, but it's a lot more durable. It actually, it absorbs water and dries out.
So it gets pumped from a water supply.
Yes. This is our water supply here. Solenoid valve. This controls the flow. And it simply operates off pressure. The water pressurizes the lines. There's probably about 12 to 15 nozzles in there in multiple directions. Sprays the thing.
This does not recirculate water. Am I correct?
Correct. It doesn't. It's a once-through system.
The large swamp coolers we have that were existing, those recirculate.
Yes, they do. They have pumps inside the sump, and they actually recirculate. This system, it's a smaller swamp cooler, so it is a pass-through system. Now, keep in mind that if this thing is running and you're looking for cooling, it may not operate right off the bat like a mechanical system. It takes possibly up to 10, 15 minutes to get this medium, absorbed with water, so it's really efficient and you're really going to get anything out of it. However, don't hesitate to turn it on and get it started because
I like that. It's going to be fresher air coming through.
It will.
Stale,
it will. It actually,
air.
it's pretty nice. I was pretty impressed. The equipment up here, you guys got some good equipment.
So probably periodically checking this filter, checking the air filters, and then possibly looking at the inside of the pan area for a possible wipe down inside there.
Yes.
But I think that one of the important points here is that it's not a standalone, or it doesn't recirculate the water, therefore it doesn't need to be drained like these units.
Is there a way to inspect the nozzles? Because
Comes out
a lot of times that's what I've seen.
Yeah, good point. This one.
And what do you want?
So you're just gonna want to do a visual, make sure it's free of debris and any other flaws. You can see there's small mineral deposits from the water. It's a galvanized scenario. It's not going to corrode, but keep a visual on it. It is a makeup air unit. It's pulling outside air in 100% of the time. Corrosion is going to occur eventually.
Can we do a manual test spray with this out once in a while?
Oh, absolutely. If you guys want, you can actually see it run here. We would turn it on.
Twice a
but
year.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, that's one of the inspection processes that I would recommend annually. Inspect your nozzles.
So the nozzles on the top and on the side, right? All of them spray.
Yes, I have 2 rows of nozzles on the top, 2 on the bottom. They're all going to be spraying.
And if they do get clogged over from hard water, is that a technician that needs to come in and service those nozzles, or is that something that the owner can pull out?
You know, it's pretty user friendly. If they're familiar enough with it, they could possibly do it by getting a nylon brush, knocking off some of the calcium on the nozzles itself.
Be careful.
Very careful.
No one over 100 allowed.
On the normal operation, is it going to be water on the pan here?
Not too much. Not too much. This does not hold in sump. If you look underneath, it's kind of difficult to see, but there's a drain on the bottom. So whenever the water gets down here, it'll find its way to the drain, and I believe it actually...
So, in other words, if I find 1 inch of water here, it means that drain is clogged.
Correct. If we are starting to hold water, we might want to look into it, because we might just need to, send something through there and clean it out.
Okay.
So, you guys probably noticed when the exhaust fan turned on, it didn't just start up immediately. There's a damper here that has to completely open before the makeup air unit turns on. And that's pretty much when the system's off, you want a damper there, because with currents and other things, you could be bringing air in regardless. But it has a damper, an actual shut-off damper, which is beneficial.
And it's probably not shooting water right now because it's probably drawing in air that's at an ambient temperature. It's not 90 degrees yet, right?
We're kind of in our happy point right now. But we could possibly manipulate it to get it to work. This is going to be our heating section of the unit.
Wow.
And I'm going to keep all the manuals in this heating door here. So if you guys do want to reference anything, it'll be in here. We try and keep everything on site. You can even put the thermostat manual in there if you want. Probably should have got a file downstairs or something. So here, I want to turn that on. All right, so this is our heating compartment. This is our high limit switch here. You shouldn't have to worry about any of these controls. This controller here is going to be specifically connected to our gas valve, and I have it set to 70 degrees. And what this control is doing is primarily setting up the gas valve to maintain 70 degrees. Our temperature adjustment on the system is actually over here, and you can see it's set to 70. This is what's actually going to turn the gas burner on and keep it running until it hits a 70 degree supply air temperature. Once it gets to the 70 degrees, it will shut off, but it will be modulating on and off to maintain 70 degrees.
So there's a there's a thermocouple somewhere in the system to detect what the air temperature is.
Yes.
Above 70, the swap cooler kicks on. Below 70, the gas heater kicks in.
Below, yes, absolutely. Below 70 degrees, the heater will turn on, maintaining 70 degrees. If we get up to 80, or pretty much past 70 degrees, it's going to turn the swap cooler on. Now, that's a pretty tight adjustment. We could possibly spread that out a little bit. Maybe have the swamp cooler turn on at 75. Maybe have the heater turn on at 65. It's really up to you. It's independent. We can set our adjustments.
A lot like that was associated with the thermostat, right? Where you had the auto.
Yes,
It has a medium range where nothing's going to happen but fan, and then you can set point adjustment.
Exactly.
So there's a temperature set for the swamp cooler. Over
Yes, that is right
That
here.
dial,
Exactly.
okay.
And that is also set to 70. So we're trying to keep it tight. I figured I'd start off at 70 degrees, pretty basic set point. We can go from there. In fact, we'll probably manipulate them by the time we get out of here today.
Do you guys want both at 70, or do you want to make a decision now to
There's your knob, it's right there.
make that
Yeah,
75?
go ahead. Like I
and
said,
make this
play with it.
Play with it.
Yes. Just keep in mind that this is live. There is voltage in
That's
here.
a lot of water shoots out.
Yeah. Now the only thing is it takes probably 10 minutes to absorb all that water.
No,
But once it does, we'll have some good
So
cooling.
since this is both set at 70, there could be a scenario where both of them kick in.
There's a fine line. There's a fine line.
Right.
In fact, as one's shutting off, the other one really should be turning on. But because they are controls, it is what it is.
Right?
Independent.
So
yes.
they could kick in at the same time.
That's why we want to,
Right. Someone make a
open up our
mistake
set
and said, I
points.
set the swamp cooler at say 75 and set this one at 65.
Yes.
Then they
Yes.
could,
Then we'll have at least a 10-degree range where they're going to be off. The problem is, you may bring up a good point. You set these things at 70 degrees. These things, they're calibrated from the factory, but a lot happens.
Yeah.
I like a 5-degree differential, if anything. It just feels
Well,
safer.
I think what he's also asking is there any potential for the air conditioning for the swamp cooler and the furnace to be going at the same time, or is this unit smart enough to know it's going to be one or the other?
My suspicion is that they seem to operate independent.
They do operate independently, but because the set points are so close, they could possibly turn on at the same time. But we're going to resolve that today. We'll put a 5-degree deadband in there so that we at least have 5 degrees to play with before
makes
we
sense.
switch over.
I
It
agree.
does make sense. I just set them, we start at 70, go from there.
Okay.
But, yeah. Now, other than that, this is the fan section. I'm going to keep this covered right now, but this is also one place that you do want to check that it is belt-driven fan. So once a year, let's say twice to 3 times a year, you might want to get in there and just check it out, make sure the belt is tight, make sure it's not worn out or cracked.
That's just a blower, right?
It's just a blower wheel, exactly.
How many belts?
You want to open it up?
Similar belt, yeah, I can open it up. I mean,
Here, hold on a second. Anytime you open this, you really should turn it off.
there
How do
is
you
a
turn it
master
off?
switch.
Disconnect.
That's the disconnect switch. So that can stay running, but now
Right.
this is off.
Service switch, if anything.
So anytime these two covers are open,
Either one of those covers.
yeah, you should turn this off.
Yes, ultimately safety first.
So that's the one belt.
The one belt, absolutely, and it's tight. And when you replace these, you'll notice it's cog. Do yourself a favor. They might be $5-10 more for a cog. Buy a cog belt. They last a lot longer. They really do. And the reason I'm pushing that is because the pulleys and the shivs they're such small in diameter that the cog belt it's beneficial. It really is. My experience. Basic stuff. It's basic stuff.
How do you loosen the belt?
There's an adjustment here.
That one?
See this? It's a little primitive, but you'll want to loosen
Got it. I got
the
it.
upper
Okay.
local. Now the panel comes off on the other side, so you have full access to both sides. It's simple stuff.
But again, just to reiterate,
Right.
nobody should be maintaining this stuff.
No. Call us up.
For the first
You
year.
gotta
For the first year.
Yeah.
You
First
gotta,
year.
This is the first year.
Yeah,
Don't,
I'm
you
thinking
don't have
10
to-
years down the
Yeah,
road.
10 years maybe, but not right now.
Right now.
I said don't touch it.
Factory warranty is what we want to maintain, and they typically sometimes will even void warranty if there's a non-certified technician, messing with the equipment.
Okay, so I think we've covered this unit pretty well
Keep
so
moving.
far.
Absolutely.
We could segue into the electrical, and I was thinking about disconnects and just showing that aspect of the rooftop equipment. Since we're up here, maybe we'll just touch on that.
Sure, we can start right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Got anything else?
Well, I want to point out the AC unit. I just want to give you guys a location on where it's at, show you a filter if you guys want to replace that filter or wash that filter,
Let's start over there.
and then we'll be 100% on my end.
There's a belt, so there's a belt in this one too.
There
so
is.
that's, in the exhaust fan also. So same deal, right, for you?
Right, yes, Casey, thank you. There is a belt in the exhaust fan. This is a little bit harder to access because you have to remove the bolts all on the side of the cabinet, on this side, but it can be done. Looks like we got a couple loose bolts over here. But this is going to be a single belt scenario as well, similar to this one, and just removing the place. Like I said, like Mike was saying, nothing that we have to worry about anytime soon, but possibly in the future. You know, I'm gonna tighten those screws up really quick as well.
If the belt ever, goes out.